John, you've said that people shouldn't be afraid to start a company. They should feel empowered. What is it that makes people afraid?
Well, I have a few theses about that, but I'm doing some research now because we're actually in a 15-year large decline in business starts. It's not something cyclical, it's something more systemic.
That's right.
And I actually believe a lot of it is the cost of higher education right now. When you think about entrepreneurs, there's a lot of myths in Horatio Alger, and the reality is most entrepreneurs start with some amount of capital, and whether that's $200,000 or $300,000 or what have you, or you beg and borrow from friends and family.
Or the availability of credit on a credit card, right?
Yeah, 30 years ago when an entrepreneur was starting up their business, they're young, they've got, go to UCLA and UC Berkeley for graduate school, and that's a total of $3,000 in tuition, and now it's $300,000. So I think for young entrepreneurs, a lot of the debt they're saddled with, I think, dampens the enthusiasm for starting a business. And I think for those in that 35 to 55, which is where the bulk of entrepreneurship happens, the notion of $1 million of tuition for your family is actually reducing the appetite for that kind of risk. And I think it's a pretty serious issue, and I'm not sure what the answer is yet.
Do entrepreneurs underestimate the process, including the legal process, in starting a business? I think you've called things like patents and trademarks necessary evils.
Yeah, it's a little bit odd, I guess, as the CEO of LegalZoom, but I think of tax, accounting, and legal as an entrepreneur as the necessary evils. They're things you have to do, but you want to spend as little time as possible because recruiting a team and building your product and getting customers in the door is your primary focus. And so a lot of it is, what do you do in terms of the basics to make sure it doesn't get in your way, as opposed to something that truly enables success. So I think outside of certain businesses that actually patents are a critical strategic asset, it's about getting the basic structure correct and not messing up in certain areas just to free you to be successful.
So LegalZoom has evolved as a business. Tell me a little bit about that evolution.
Yeah, we've had a few pivots. So I think of it in 3 chapters. In chapter 1, we were essentially a legal document factory. We're a platform of people and technology, but you go in and we're kind of a TurboTax of the legal industry. We fill out a questionnaire and get a customized document, and we're positioned as an alternative to a lawyer. In 2010, we really pivoted and added lawyers to the mix. So all of a sudden, we are providing flat fee solutions for the most common legal needs with attorney advice. Now they were a bit segmented because there's a lot of regulatory hurdles. And then really in this last chapter, I think chapter 3, there are probably too many chapters, so there's never the last one. But in the most recent one, which started last year, we became a law firm. And so now we're looking at complete integrated legal solutions. So we want to be the place people turn to find and connected technology-enabled lawyers to create greater access to the law. And in February, we purchased a law firm in the UK, and now we're a law firm.
How do you know as an entrepreneur that it's time to evolve, that it's time to pivot?
Sometimes you can't see the mountain until you climb the hill, and then the mountain you thought was actually just another big hill. And so for a lot of how we've evolved is by being in the thick of the action, we see another problem that needs to be solved. And then we think, hey, I think we can create a solution to that, and that evolves into something different. So I think it's just naturally being aware of the friction that exists or the problems that people are having, and having an eye to what capabilities you've got that can solve them. So I think our evolution was pretty natural. It felt like a bloodless coup. I mean, sometimes a little more dramatic than others, but a lot of it is just keeping your eyes open to your customers, and your customers will guide you there.
Why isn't the legal business as a whole evolving? Why hasn't there been a bloodless coup in law writ large?
Well, when you think about entrepreneurship and innovation, every entrepreneur that does something radically different is going to face something, often regulatory issues, because they weren't made for this kind of business, right? A lot of regulations didn't contemplate the kind of businesses that exist today. And so regulations are based on precedent, entrepreneurs are doing something different, natural conflict. For us, we're innovating, and to the folks that we're disrupting happen to be the same people writing the laws and the regulations. So there's an added difficulty in the legal industry that I think slows progress but cannot stop it. And I think we're on the other side of it now. So it's beginning to open up. And I feel like it's been 15 years to get to the starting line.
Wow, that's astounding. Perseverance. Thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure.